2021 is an important and exciting year for our company as we celebrate 60 years of creative construction. Achieving longevity for any company demonstrates a depth in valuing people, an underlying level of resilience, and a willingness to change and develop over time with an untiring desire to bring differentiating value. McConnell Dowell has done exactly that, and it gives me great pride to be a part of our rich history, and moreover, to build a future upon all what has been created in the last 60 years. Throughout the year, we will showcase stories of the many people and projects which encompass the full diversity of our history, and a history filled with enjoyment, challenge, and achievement. Our entrepreneurial founders, Malcolm McConnell and Jim Dowell, seeded what remains today as the innovative and creative DNA of our company. So the perfect person to reflect upon these beginnings is Jim himself. Here's Jim.
My old primary school teacher suggested to my parents that I should look at civil engineering, and that would be when I was about 12, and it always stuck with me, that idea, and I never changed really. I was sort of strong on the mathematical side, and nothing else appealed really. I did a master's degree in civil engineering at Canterbury University, or Canterbury College as it was. Then I thought big ideas about designing bridges, and I got a job with a consultant in Auckland, Andrew Murray, and I found that design wasn't for me. So I lasted there about 18 months, and I was playing rugby with one of the section engineers brought out from England for the building of the Harbour Bridge, and he said they were after an extra junior engineer and was interested, and I grabbed it, and I fell in love with construction at that time. He was 2 years ahead of me in engineering school, and I sort of knew him just to say hello to. But when the bridge was winding down, I took a job with an Auckland contractor, Dryden Construction, and he at that stage was the chief engineer or manager. Oh, he's a ball of energy and a very likeable character. Never a moment slipped for him to be idle. I was a sort of more of a reflective type, I suppose, and he was the ebullient man. And I think we were enough brains between us to realise that we had to cater to one another's differences. And we decided that if Dryden's could make money doing it this way, there was a chance for us, and that was what gave us the impetus to start on our own. We wanted to be a civil contractor concentrating on the more technically difficult jobs rather than earth moving, for instance. But that was difficult to start with, and we couldn't be fussy in those days. So we did driveways, we did a lot of subdivisional roading until we could get our teeth into the odd, technically more challenging work. Consulting engineer in Christchurch, Bob Morris, together with Hume Pipes, came up with an idea of making up rafts of pipes in Auckland and taking them up there, and wanted to know if we'd go along with them. So we said we would. We came up with a preliminary proposal. So then it was decided that Bob Morris and Malcolm would go to talk to the engineers to the contract that was Bechtel in Los Angeles. As the story goes, in a restaurant in LA, they came up with a £170,000 price written down on a table napkin at I think the restaurant was the Red Rooster. Anyway, we got the job, and that was it. We took off. We talked one of our top guys, a fellow called Stuart McDonald, to go to Australia to get into this business. We started small, and the first job was the reticulation of the city of Geelong for gas. And we built that pipelining part up, and we became one of the contenders in the big stuff, 200-300 miles of big inch, 30 inch through the desert. And we did very well financially out of that work. As to Singapore, Malcolm in his year had known a fellow called Roger Gudgeon, who was the manager of a Singapore construction company. Bumped into him in the airport or something, and one thing led to another, and we kicked off in Singapore with a three-way joint company, Gudgeon, McConnell and me. And we did at that stage a lot of, I suppose you could say, technically difficult work where we could compete, as opposed to the mass earthworks and dredging and so on, where we couldn't. We were careful to select the best people and encourage them. A lot of fun, a lot of hard work, and a lot of good people. Engineering excellence, concentrating on quality. We did a lot of work that was technically challenging. I've been very lucky to have been involved in the company for nearly all my working life. To see it still flourishing gives me a lot of pleasure. It's been 60 wonderful years, and I hope the next 60 is good.